But okay, it's not just local supply and demand dynamics. You mentioned external capital.
Yeah, this is where it gets really interesting. The investor influence. It seems a big chunk of those dollars chasing properties are coming from organized investors, and many aren't even local.
Organized investors,
Yeah.
like companies.
Yes. Daniel Hamel, he's a professor of urban geography and housing at the University of Toledo. He points this out. He says, organized investors with a lot of funding behind them are buying,
Funding
like real estate investment trusts, REITs, basically big companies pooling money to buy and manage income properties. It's not just individuals flipping houses, it's significant corporate money.
And it's become easier for these big corporations to just sort of sweep into a market like Toledo and buy up houses.
Apparently so. Hamel notes that by 2022, there was clear evidence they were entering the Toledo market, seeing its potential. So it's strategic.
Wow. Okay, so what's the impact of that on actual homeownership for regular people?
While Hamel believes these investors, not necessarily new residents, are the main force driving up prices.
Really? More than anything else?
He points to a big drop in Toledo's homeownership rate, like 9 to 12 percentage points, just between 2007 and 2012. And he states it very clearly. The insanely high numbers we are seeing now are being driven by investors.
That's a huge claim.
Yeah.
The investors are driving these prices. What does that mean for, like, the character of a city like Toledo long term if locals are getting locked out?
That's the big concern, exactly. Is it becoming a renter's market by default or even by design? Matthew Watson, he's a real estate broker, adds to this. He says investors are buying a lot of properties for cash.
Ah, cash, that's the killer.
Right, and they focus on single-family homes because they're easier to rent. His conclusion. It makes it tough for individual home buyers to fight against cash.
Yeah, I can see that. You've got your mortgage pre-approval, maybe some contingencies.
And you're up against a corporation with an all-cash offer ready to close fast. It's just not a level playing field. It tilts everything away from traditional buyers.
It really does. A massive disadvantage. And it's not just the purchase price, right? There are other hurdles, too.
Definitely. Stephen Toon mentioned several other financial obstacles that just pile on for first-time buyers.
Like what?
Well, first, just saving enough for a down payment when prices have jumped so much, that's a huge barrier right there.
Okay.
Then, even if you get a loan, you're not getting those super low mortgage rates from a few years back, so your monthly payments are higher.
Right. Interest rates add up fast.
And then on top of all that, property taxes have gone up because of property revaluations, another ongoing cost increase.
Oof. So it's the down payment, the higher mortgage rate, and higher taxes.
Yeah. Each one alone is tough. Put them together. It creates what Toon calls a challenging market for people who want to take that first step into home ownership.
It really highlights the difficulty. You know, hearing all this, it feels like the goalposts aren't just moving. Maybe they're being removed entirely for some people. It's not just financial. It's almost psychological, isn't it?
It absolutely is. Imagine the emotional toll, the mental drain of rejection after rejection, watching prices climb. It can definitely lead to a sense of hopelessness for some potential buyers.
So faced with all these huge challenges, what can aspiring homeowners even do?
Well, Matthew Watson, the broker, he offered some practical advice, almost like a survival guide for this kind of market.
Okay, let's hear it. Any hope?
He suggests looking for properties that have been sitting on the market for a little while.
Ah, okay. Instead of the brand new listings.
Right. The idea is you might find a bit more breathing room there, maybe less of an instant bidding war, more chance for negotiation, maybe get some concessions from the seller.
That makes sense. What else?
He also mentioned exploring grants for down payment assistance. That can be a literal lifeline, helping bridge that affordability gap.
Good point. Those programs exist, need to seek them out.
And another thing, trying to understand what the seller really needs or wants. It's not always just the highest price.
Oh, like what?
Maybe they need more time to move out. Offering flexibility on the possession date could make your offer more attractive, even if it's not the absolute highest dollar amount. Competing creatively, essentially.
Interesting angle. Thinking beyond just the price tag. And what about family help?
Yeah, the article mentions that too. A growing trend, apparently, though maybe a bit bittersweet. Older people refinance their homes and give their kids the cash so they can buy their first house.
Wow, the bank of mom and dad getting tapped through refinancing.
It shows the lengths families are going to just to try and keep that generational dream of homeownership alive. But obviously, that's not an option for everyone.
No, definitely not. It really underscores the scale of the problem.
Which brings us back to the bigger picture. Erin McPartland from Habitat for Humanity.
Right. She believes affordable housing is, without question, the no one need in the Toledo area.
And that's not just her opinion, right? There's data. Yeah, hard data. Get this. 42% of all calls to the United Way's 200-11 number, that's the line for health or human service help,
Okay.
0.42% are housing related.
Almost half. Half the calls for help in the community are about housing. That's staggering. It shows a real crisis at the core of things.
It really does. And the demand just completely overwhelms the resources available. Habitat, for instance, they can only manage to build maybe 5 to 7 homes a year.
5 to 7.
Yeah. But they have over 100 people on our waiting list.
Wow.
The need just vastly outstrips what they, and likely others, can possibly provide. It's a stark indicator of how deep this crisis runs, how systemic it is.
So what does this all mean for that American dream we started with? Is it still achievable in Toledo?
Well, Matthew Watson acknowledges you can grow your wealth here, that's for sure, so there's opportunity in the region. But, he adds, the market impacts people trying to pursue the American dream of owning their own home. It's this bittersweet reality. Opportunity exists, maybe, but the traditional path through homeownership, it's getting blocked for many average folks.
So there's this fundamental tension. Wealth growth might be possible, but actually owning your home, that foundation piece, is becoming much harder. Creates a widening gap, maybe.
Yeah, a gap between those who can afford to buy, maybe with cash or significant help, and those who are increasingly forced into renting, potentially long-term.
So if we boil it down, the core takeaway from our deep dive today seems to be this. Toledo's housing market. It's not just hot, it's kind of a critical case study. It shows how severe inventory shortages, really amplified by out-of-town investor money, are systematically pushing that dream of owning a home just out of reach for many everyday buyers.
Yeah, it's creating this landscape where, okay, maybe the region can grow wealth overall, but the direct path to that dream, owning your own place, is full of these huge new challenges.
Which leads us to our final provocative thought for you, the listener, to mull over.
Okay.
In a market like this, where the traditional starter home is basically disappearing and individual buyers keep getting outmaneuvered by cash offers from, organized capital, what are the long-term consequences?
Yeah, what does that mean socially, economically,
Yeah.
for a city like Toledo? How does this shift really redefine the American dream of homeownership for the next generation? And maybe more importantly, what are we losing as that dream becomes harder and harder to actually grasp?
Something profound to think about as we wrap up this deep dive. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you next time for another journey into what truly matters.